Okay, we're rolling.
Hey, it's Dave from the How to Podcast series. I hope you're doing okay. Welcome to the show. If you're a first timer here, you're like, this guy sounds funny. Like, it sounds like he's not even talking in a microphone. Well, that's true. Well done. You figured out my secret. I am recording in the backyard of my house in Canada in August. After two major floods in my house, I don't have any podcasting set up at all because everything's in boxes and piled on top of piles. And I've been pushed out of the house due to renovations and remediation. And I'm sitting under a tree. You might hear the occasional bird or a bee almost stung me, but our plane. I go over the house all the time. This is like super like different, but I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the show. I want to talk about creating content from real life hardships and real life experiences, how we can take our personal struggles into meaningful episodes. And the episode for this the title of this episode is From Flood to Flow, using real life struggles as podcast content. Because that's exactly what's happening. So when's the last time something has happened to you and you've talked to your friends about it, your family, you've called them up and you're like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe the day I had today. Let me tell you what happened. And you go on and do the whole thing. Did you know that over time, as you build your podcast, your audience also loves those touch points where you reach out and go, here's what's going on. I want to let you know. And I just wanted to spend some time with you and share my journey, what's happening behind the scenes. Did you know that your podcast audience is interested just as much in you as they are in your content? They actually care about you. And I know that sounds weird because we have people who we've never met. Maybe we've seen them on our computer screen through a Zoom meeting or a meetup or through an interview that we've done together. But we've never met these people. They are basically, outside the internet, they're complete strangers. But we've had moments together. I've had voice messages from people around the world. Thank you, everybody. I love them. Keep them coming. I've had conversations with people I've never met in real life because of a podcast. And throughout this journey, it's amazing to think that people are interested in my content, which I'm grateful for. Thank you for being here, because they're also interested in me. I've had people do outstanding things during this whole crisis that we've had of flooding, which just shocks us, my wife and I. Like people reaching out, people, buying a coffee for me and for my wife to go have dinner because, after doing buckets of water for 20 hours straight, the last thing you want to do is go cook dinner. So people have been so kind, and people offering us money to help, and people offering to do all kinds of different things to help us throughout this whole journey. And I got to tell you, it's like very rewarding to have this kind of connection with people. And I think people want to know more about you than just your content. When I listen to podcasts, I hear a lot of polished content, like really good content, outstanding content. The one thing I don't hear often or as much is the personal side of the person who's giving this amazing content to us. I want to know more about that person. It's why I have Living the Next Chapter, my author podcast. Amazing authors writing awesome stories, sharing deep, deep stories and helpful books and instructional things that can help the world. But to get a side of them as who they are as people and then read their book, it's completely different because the conversation is now based on who the person is. And then we talk about the book, right? If the books jump off the shelf when you get a sense of who the person is who wrote the book in the first place. And that's what I was thinking for us as podcasters. A podcast is like a book, right? You can write a book, put it out there in the world. People see it, people buy it, but they know nothing of you. Maybe what they read inside or on the back cover. That's all they know about the author. But wouldn't it be great if you could actually Talk to the author. Would it be great if you get to know their story or why this book became the book it became? If you're a reader and you love books, then please go check out livingthenextchapter.com. There's over 700 episodes at this point. Maybe it's 800 actually. Go check us out. We got a lot of great people you could fall in love with from the author community. I love that show. But I'm not even an author and I'm hosting the show. Get that. Wow. As podcasters, our podcast episodes are like mini books, basically. Every episode's a book or a chapter of a book. We're putting them out there into the world. It's a piece of us. But people are curious about you as the creator. They want to know what's going on. Just as much as your family wants to know how you're doing in time of crisis, your audience also wants to know how you're doing in a time of crisis, or also in a time when things are going great. We sometimes think that people aren't interested in us as people as much as they are our content and our funnels and our business and all the things we do around our podcast. People are also interested in you as a human being and connecting with you at a real connection. And I think that makes your listeners feel more of the community, feel more part of the community, and more part of you and what you're building. Because over the years that you podcast, for me, it'll be 8 years, people start to associate themselves with you. They feel like they know you. They care about you. They think about you. They send you messages. All that comes over time. It doesn't come right away. A lot of silence at the beginning, stages of starting your podcast, but over time, people will come to you and be a part of your world. So don't be afraid to share content based on real life hardships because stories matter. I could get on here today and give you 3 tips to make your podcast better. Great. Awesome. So is everyone else. Everyone else is doing that. I'm at this moment, I know Danny Brown, I've mentioned him before on the podcast. Danny had a flood a while ago. And as I watched him, I'm like, oh gosh, that sucks. And now it's my turn. And I don't know a lot of podcasts about podcasting where the podcaster's outside in the backyard with planes flying over and bees buzzing in the head and dogs barking. And I don't know a lot of people doing this exact same podcast and sounding as crappy as it does to me as I listen back to this and go, oh, this could be so much better. But I'm doing what I can with what I have, right? We as podcasters, we have crises that happen. We have things that are out of our control, and we don't just shut off and shut down, right? That's easy to do. It's easy to say I'm overwhelmed and I'm walking away from my show. What's hard to do is keep building, is keep pushing uphill. I'm going to go back to the flood again because it's very topical right now for me. There were times at 4 o'clock in the morning when my wife was gone to bed to get a few hours sleep, but my only job was to fill the laundry tub with buckets of water, 6.5 Rubbermaid containers into the laundry tub, and then it would drain, and then I would do the next 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. And I did that for 5 to 6 hours straight. Water bucket after water bucket after water bucket after water bucket. I could have just said, screw it. I'm done. I'm done with water. I'm going to go do something else. My wife was at the laundromat yesterday, and one other woman was there, and she was like, do you know that while I'm here doing this laundry because I have no washing machine at home anymore, my husband went golfing. And all of the people in the room were like, oh no. She's like, yeah, he's out on the golf course right now. And here I am doing all of the things. That's what I find in podcasting is the moment it gets hard for some podcasters, not all, this is not a blanket statement and please don't take offense. But when things get hard, people are like, screw it, I'm going golfing. Screw it, it's not worth it. Forget this, I'm done. I'm taking a break, I'm walking away. I don't care. I'm not doing this. And people walk away from the thing that they said they love, but their actions don't correspond with the results. right? And what they say. So I just look at this as when things happen to us, right? We can use those as stories because stories teach, stories instruct, and stories stick in the minds of your audience more than 3 ways to grow your podcast, right? Nice to have. Thank you very much. But that's like candy. A meal is a story because stories resonate with people. We need to tell better stories. My one thing I will say about stories before we wrap up here, it's just a short one today, is when you tell stories, the trap I find in some other podcasts that I listen to is the story is told by the podcaster and the story is all about themselves. The story never gives an opportunity for the audience to insert themselves into what's happening and to connect with the story and to feel like they see themselves in the story. The story is always seems to be about the person telling it. And that's not the best connection of a story. A good story allows people to connect to the what happened, see themselves in what happened, and then apply it. So when you tell your story, be sure to include others. Make sure that other people feel connected to what's happening in the story so that when they listen, they're envisioning themselves in that story, in that situation, and what they would do. And always give your audience an opportunity to respond. So when we talk about leveraging and using hardships in life as content ideas, I want you to think back about maybe something that's happened recently that you thought the audience wouldn't care about, but they probably do. And I'd love for you to make one of your next episode about that, about something that you experienced, what you learned, how you went through it, and then tell a story from that experience, and then invite your audience to insert themselves into the story, and then share with you in response. Oh yeah, that happened to me, right? When I was listening to Danny Brown talk about his flood at his house, where it impacts his studio, right? I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh man, what would I do? I never reached out to Danny Brown. I never really did anything when he had his flood. But now that I'm sitting here, I'm like, I should have. I should have done something with that. Tell your story. Make it make sense for the people who listen to your story. And in doing so, you'll take a story that's happened to you and it'll help out somebody else. If you need help telling better stories, if you need help converting crisis into content, reach out to me at howtopodcast.ca. Thanks for being here.
This episode got me thinking about something I've been doing almost every Saturday for the last several years now. Regarding real change taking longer than a weekend, I wanted to mention a podcast meetup run by a friend of the show, David Campbell. Rather than have Dave do a promo about it himself, I spoke with a fellow member of the group, Bill Monty.
I was so lucky to just stumble upon Dave's meetings. The first meeting, I knew this was different than other groups I had belonged to. First off, the other groups I had to pay to be in. And sometimes I was completely ignored, never asked a question or even acknowledged that I was part of a little 5-person group. And so this became something very different for me. And really it was someone tossing me a lifeline because at that point I was just thinking about giving up podcasting. Dave uses the word community a lot. And that's exactly what we've built. We've built this little podcasting community of people who actually care for each other. There's no judgment. There's no sales. It's a great place to learn, and it's a great place to feel safe.
If you're looking for a podcast community that feels more like a long-term conversation than a weekend transformation, the easiest way to join is visit Dave's site, howtopodcast.ca, and scroll down to the meetup. It's free, and honestly, it's one of the few podcast groups I keep coming back to.
You're still here. Okay. I had a question from a podcaster around YouTube. And on YouTube, they have connected their podcast directly from their hosting site. So they host with Buzzsprout. So there's a way for you to connect Buzzsprout to YouTube. So every time an episode goes live on Buzzsprout hosting site, it goes live on YouTube. It's an audio podcast on YouTube. It's not video. even though Buzzsprout has video podcasts in the moment. Things might change, but right now it's an audio connected podcast. So an audio episode goes live from Buzzsprout to Spotify, Audible, Apple, and YouTube. And they said, Dave, when it goes live, should I do a YouTube thumbnail for the episode, or should I just leave the album art, which is your square image at this point of time in recording? That's what shows up when it goes live. And I said, well, YouTube is based on thumbnails. YouTube thumbnails are huge on YouTube. There are podcasters like Dyer and CEO where they have full-time people who just do YouTube thumbnails. I don't have that kind of money, and I don't have that kind of team. So everything you see on YouTube for any of my shows, that's me in Canva. That's really all that is. But yes, YouTube thumbnails are important. And you just want to have something that's eye-catching, that the YouTube thumbnail matches the content. So you're not saying, oh, this major thing happened and this is what it was horrible. Wait till the end. And then that's your thumbnail. And then you watch or listen to the podcast and nothing happens. You're like, that's not good. You want to make the same promise in the episode that you do on your thumbnail. But I know that YouTube does like faces for the most part on thumbnails. So instead of a picture of the book for Living the Next Chapter, I try to get a picture of the author, that kind of thing. Create YouTube thumbnails. Again, we can do this in Canva. You can do it with the free version of Canva as well. You don't have to have the paid version. You don't get all the bells and whistles, obviously, because you're not paying for it. But Canva is a great starting point. You can hire somebody. You can go on Fiverr or Upwork or all those other places, or you can just do it yourself. Save your money. Use the free plan. There's other tools as well. If you need help with that, let me know. I can share templates with you. Happy to help you organize what you think is a good thumbnail. My homework for you, though, as you look at creating thumbnails for your podcast, is look at other podcasts that you love in your area, in your topic, in your genre, your niche, as we say in Canada, niche in America, and look at what other people are doing and pick out the best of the best. I like this. I like that. I like the font. I like the color. I like the format. I like how they do this. I like when they have a guest. I like when they don't have a guest. I like that they do this, and I like that they don't do that. Make a list of the things you like and snapshot pictures of all of the things you like. And then when we take all that information, we can blend it together and come up with something that you really like, that matches your website colors, that matches your Instagram colors, that matches your Pinterest colors, whatever you're doing. We can come up with something that works well for you. But your starting point is that, yes, thumbnails are important on YouTube. So please do those. Get help if you don't know how. Canva's free. You can go to the paid plan if you want. The Canva is free. So there's no excuse about having to pay for a service to do this. Use the free plan. Just get going. Might be basic, but it's better than nothing. And make a list of the things you like. And let's get together and talk through this, and I can show you ways to make a template. All you have to do in every episode is swap out the episode number if you want to, the name of the episode, and just save it, upload it, done. It's pretty straightforward once you get the routine down. Happy to help with that. howtopodcast.ca. Calendar links right there for you. Anytime you want, you and I can get together and talk about podcasting. It's free, 30 minutes, anytime you want, as often as you want. howtopodcast.ca. Keep podcasting, everybody. I'll talk to you tomorrow from the backyard. Take care.